The chronological Bible reading for February 25th is Numbers chapters 5 and 6. As we read about these rules that God told Moses to give to the people, we have to keep in mind the reason why. Everything God said had a spiritual dynamic to it. God was trying to communicate through the daily life of each and every one of his people, spiritual truths. When you send the leper out from among you, I want you to think about why. The skin is the barrier that keeps germs and foreign substances out of our bodies. When there's a lesion in our skin, it's an open area that allows foreign substances to come in and cause infection. If there is a flow from your body, some sort of a discharge, it's showing that something is wrong. These are physical afflictions that represent spiritual truths. What would happen if you were filled with the knowledge and the glory of God and it leaked out of you and you lost it? What would happen if you were called to be holy and yet you were in close proximity to sin and decadence that was continually attempting to influence and affect you? God is showing through these laws, stay clean, stay healthy. And as you do these things physically, think about the spiritual truths they represent. When one of you becomes unclean, cast them away. It's not to harm them. It's not even necessarily to punish them, but it's to show them that they cannot be part of the fellowship if they're not walking in holiness. If a husband becomes jealous and suspicious that his wife has been cheating on him, if she's guilty, she will bring a curse upon herself. She'll be unable to bear children. And the hope that that man has of raising children and creating a legacy for himself through that woman will be erased. Having this practice would prevent a man from falsely accusing his wife. He must have some real evidence to believe that she was actually guilty before he would go and publicly accuse her. It would also justify her if she's in fact innocent. Innocence preserves the blessing of God, but when we act in sin, we bring a curse upon ourselves. In chapter 6, instructions are given for those who would like to make a Nazarite vow. And this was optional most of the time. A Nazarite is one who was consecrated or set apart. They were devoted and willing to separate themselves even further from amongst the Israelites to show a deeper commitment to Yahweh. Nazarites were not to pass a razor over their head, which likely means cut their hair or shave in any way, and they were not supposed to consume any alcohol at all. In fact, they weren't supposed to even touch grapes or raisins. And if they were to go down this road, God says you must do it all the way. If you say you're going to do this, then do it. Even if it's for a short time, be wholly committed. And I believe during this time, God is calling many of us to be wholly committed, to be devoted to Him. Let's go above and beyond the standard practice of just trying not to sin and trying to be devoted to God. What if we were to change our diets and fast in order to seek God, to deny our flesh that our spirits might flourish? Someone might ask, why were they not allowed to cut their hair? And if you think about it, the head represents the beginning of who we are. It's where our brain is, where our thoughts come from. It's the computer that controls our bodies and our speech, where our eyes look and what we choose to listen to. It processes and filters everything we come into contact with, and the hair is a covering for our heads. To cover our heads is to show humility before God, whose thoughts are so far above our own thoughts. It's an act of submission, of saying, God, I acknowledge that you are above me, that you are better than me, that your way of thinking is higher than mine. I am submitting myself under your leadership. You are God, and I am the being you created. May I be covered so that I won't detract from you at all. May nobody even notice me, and may they see you and you alone, O God. I'm not going to cut my hair The root word in Hebrew from which we get Nazarite means to consecrate, to separate, or to abstain. In the same way that anybody, male or female in Israel, could choose to be a Nazarite for a season, they could set apart a portion of their life and say, God, this belongs to you. I'm only going to serve you. We today could choose to say, God, I am devoting myself to serving you, to being set apart. If it means I'm just going to praise you, if it means you're going to tap me to intercede for those around me or those on the other side of the world, I'm going to devote myself to you, Father, because I want to have a deeper connection with you. But let's not take it lightly. Let's fulfill the vow that we make to Yahweh. The very last portion of chapter 6 deals with the priestly blessing. Yahweh told Moses, tell Aaron and his sons, this is how you are to bless the Israelites. May Yahweh bless you and protect you. May Yahweh make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May Yahweh look on you with favor and give you peace. God says, in this way they will put my name on the Israelites, and I will bless them. And I would like to challenge you to write this down, to memorize it, and to speak it over yourself, to speak it over your family, to speak it over your sphere of influence, over the people you do business with, the people you go to school with, over your teachers, over your employers, over your employees, over your neighbors, over the people sitting beside you in their own cars in traffic, or those on the subway car with you. Some of us might be tempted to say, why would I speak a blessing over other people who do evil things, who are not walking with God? But I would say, what if they're not walking with God because they don't know how good God is? Maybe they've never met him. Maybe they need someone like you to speak blessing over them, because God says when the priests speak it over the Israelites, God will be with them and he will bless them. Believers are the priests on the earth today. Let us do our heavenly calling and speak blessing. Let us intercede for the people around us. And I, for one, am grateful to be a priest with you, carrying forth the ministry of reconciliation in these jars of clay. May Yahweh bless you and protect you. May Yahweh make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May Yahweh look with favor on you and give you peace. See you tomorrow.